C'est la vie, Dave.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. There you go. All right, Jags fall to 2-4, dropping one by 7 late to the Indianapolis Colts. Jags scored in every quarter. By the way, there's one positive. The Colts had not allowed a fourth-quarter point this year until that touchdown drive, which could have gone down as one of the more epic ones. It would have been one. Remember, that's when it all started to begin, right? When it all started to come into fruition for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But
by the way, I got a bone to pick with Vegas. How dare they make the Jags a favorite this week against the 5-1 Giants?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they're a 2.5-point favorite this Sunday against the Giants, who have won outright as an underdog 4 times already this year. You don't think they're using that as bulletin board material, getting ready for this one? When I saw it, I was like, are you kidding me?
They're not putting any spec on their name.
No.
And speaking of bulletin board material, all right, Trayvon Walker, in an interview with Neil O'Brien last week, refers to Matt Ryan as a sitting duck. He's like, let's be honest, he's a sitting duck back there. If you heard that as a quarterback, like, would that even register? Would you just let that roll off your back? Or would you, I mean, how prevalent is the use of bulletin board material in a professional setting?
Well, I think it's still very prevalent, especially now where everything's on social media and everything's broadcasted everywhere. You used to have to find it in the newspaper back in the day, but now it's everywhere. So I think that's more on the offensive line saying, nah, I don't care if he is a sitting duck. We're not going to let you get to him.
Well, they spoke.
They did.
Right? I mean, 58 pass attempts and no sacks.
And
I get it.
And also he realized, I got to get the ball out of my hands. I am older. I am somewhat of a sitting duck, so I can't hold on to it. Let's let it go.
No, look, if they try to do 5- and 7-step drops, he is a sitting duck, right? And they realize that. And, look, I don't think anybody had much dispute with the truth of what Trayvon Walker's saying, and based on the way the season had played out. But you know what? They realized, hey, you know what? They're right. The Jags, who have struggled to get sacks this year, had 5 against the Colts in week 1. What can we do to change that? We don't have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Let's just not pound the ball into a weak offensive line. Let's get creative, drop back, 3-step drop, boom, and get them frustrated. And they did get frustrated.
And that's what you do when you play a team so quickly. Again, just a couple weeks later, you're going back and watching that film and analyzing, okay, what advantages do we have in this ball game? And clearly they realized if we just get the ball out of our hands quickly, throw short things, Matt Ryan is still accurate enough. If he's standing upright, he can put the ball in your hands. Sometimes it was pretty ugly, but he still was there to get those quick passes, and it's almost an extension of their run game.
No doubt about that, especially the ones to Deion Jackson. They're I'm just going to dump it down to this guy. He carried it 12 times. 3.5 yards a carry. Wasn't anything special on the ground, but he was a great outlet receiver for them. And between he and Pittman, they caught 23 passes.
And they've got some big receivers. Pierce and Pittman
they're both
big guys.
Yeah,
man.
they really are.
Yeah.
And that's and Pierce is fast too. Now Pierce is like a 4-3 guy.
Yeah, I watched him plenty of times against my Pirates.
No doubt. How'd they do against Pirates?
Not very good.
No?
I was like, wow, who's this guy? Is he like 7 feet tall?
He is a big guy. All right, let's go to Mike in Jacksonville Beach next up here at 641-1010. Good morning, Mike.
How's it going, guys?
Okay.
I got 2 things for you. Michael Pittman, what was it, 13 catches?
Yes.
From what I counted, 11 of them run underneath drag routes. How are we not making at least the adjustments at halftime to do something about that? I mean, they couldn't put the ball down the field other than that last play of the game. My second thing is I love Doug Peterson's creativity. Oh, my gosh, it just warms my heart. But 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, can we just be pragmatic a couple of times? It's hard to not gain a yard sometimes if you just run a power set and go up the middle. And the couple times we did, Trevor Lawrence walked into the end zone, or 3rd and 1, we run it for a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree as a general rule. If it's 3rd and 1 and you are dominating on the ground and you want to take a shot on 3rd and 1, I don't have a problem with that either. But then come back and dominate them on the ground. Don't run a backwards-moving play and pitch an option pitch to where ETN's now going to gain 5 yards instead of 1 yard. So, I don't – look, that's how big plays get made sometimes. You know that, Dave, in the National Football League on 3rd and 1. More to the first point, though, for Mike.
Yeah.
What do you do to adjust? I mean, you're a quarterback. If you're in a rhythm and you're hitting these underneath crossers, what are you expecting the adjustment to be from the defense?
Well, I'm expecting them to kind of get out of the zone and start playing a little bit more man coverage. But that's where they were beating Shaquill Griffin.
Right.
So you can play zone and try to get guys into the areas and stop some of these underneath things, but then you're softer in your run game, and maybe it's not something that you're more familiar with. So they get into their, a little bit more bread and butter, just get into some man. But then, because you want the man coverage because you can keep your hands on the guy and you can stay close to him, but not if the guy is beating you off the line and you're running behind trailing, and you try to get a linebacker to say, hey, help out on some of these crossers. Well, then they start hitting things behind the linebackers because they're more focused on the short things. It's a big chess match. So you try to take one thing away to only give them the opportunities for these shorter throws, and you think, okay, they're going to throw shorter routes. We're going to rally to the ball. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get anything after it, but they were hitting everything and still getting some yak after the catches. Yeah. That's what hurts.
Yeah, 10 out of 15 on third down.
Yeah.
Killed them.
A listener sent this to me. Jordan DeLugo tweeted this out about Shaquill Griffin in the game yesterday. Targeted 13 times in coverage, surrendered 9 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown, was called for pass interference twice. QB rating of 120 against him.
That's brutal.
That's not good.
And look, on one of his pass breakups, he had 2 pass breakups. It was like a Tyson Campbell moment, like turn your head and pick it, and the game's over.
Yeah.
And we win. And, you got kudos, you got the pass breakup. That's great. But
he's just not one of those DBs that you're looking to get his hands on the football. He's just not that guy. His thing is staying close to his receivers and breaking up passes. That's what you're hoping that you're getting. But for some reason, we're not even getting that as much because guys are just running away from him. And he doesn't have that closing speed. Usually when your receiver takes off on you, they're going to have a little bit of separation if they're any good. Mm-hmm. But like Tyson Campbell, he has closing speed where he can catch back up, make plays on the ball, those kind of things. It seems like Shaq is just stuck still 2 or 3 yards off the receiver once he breaks across the field, and he's not catching him until the guy is turned up for 10 more yards, and then he's making the tackle. Like, that's where he's struggling. He's not staying with his receivers. He's not blanketing them. He's giving them too much space.
All right, one more here before we hit the break. Say on the south side next up on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Say.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Hey, first of all, thank you for taking my call. Hey, I think, we're giving away too many games here. There's a couple of games we could have had, and we should have had it. And I think it's time for Doug Peterson to put the hammer down. Just start benching people, and starts with number 26.
Okay. I mean, that may happen, right? I mean, that's, to me, more of a Mike Caldwell decision. That's his personnel on that side of the football. I think that you leave that in the hands of the defensive coordinator that you hired to do that job. But the same, beyond that, there's a reason guys are the starters.
Yeah.
They're generally the best option you have, and it is frustrating when they're not good enough to win consistently, Dave, but again, they see these guys every day. They know their personnel. They're trying to put themselves in the best position to win, and you could say, well, it couldn't be any worse. Well, sometimes it could be worse, right?
Exactly.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have made a move yesterday because, at a certain point, like you said, we can get beat with either guy. Yeah. We're getting beat, and those numbers were just horrific for Shaq yesterday.
I think in those situations, they should have gone more to a zone where they had more guys like cover 2, have more guys underneath. The Colts kind of showed they couldn't really run the ball, and our defense was doing a great job in the run game. So get to more of a cover 2, put that shell back there so that it's not Shaq on an island by himself. He has help. They can't run as many underneath things. They still can because there's holes there, but at least you have guys now rallying to the ball where they catch it for 4 or 5 yards and they're being tackled right there, and we're giving our defensive line a chance to get more pressure on the quarterback because he can't get the ball out of his hands fast because we've got guys in those zones.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. If you're on the line, stay right there at 641-1010, and we'll get more of your reaction on a Reaction Monday to the Jaguars falling to 2-4 with a loss to the Colts. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.